In 2007, I performed Michael's concerto named Side by Side for a piano and harpsichord soloist. There we are, by the way, side by side. The project came about as Marilyn Gilbert had suggested that I contact Michael. In order for the piano to better match the volume of the harpsichord, Michael decided that the piano should be prepared. We experimented with all sorts of objects, including bananas, bobby pins, tuning mutes, and of course, to acknowledge Michael's Italian heritage, only cans of Italian whole tomatoes would do. I remember that he also needed various bowls and utensils for the percussion section of the orchestra, and Ula was concerned that her kitchen was being raided. Here is Michael with Alex Pauk. The concerto was premiered here in Toronto with Esprit Orchestra. This is Michael with conductor Gil Rose of the Boston Modern Orchestra Project, where we had the American premiere. By the way, you can now get a CD of the performance, and this CD was released just this April. In fond memory of Michael, I will now perform the aria from Bach's Goldberg Variations, and then follow up with some of Michael's own words. Now, lest Michael would think that this is all too serious, I'd like to conclude by reading part of one of his writings that appeared in Ula's music magazine. It's titled Posthumous Works. I have always been fascinated at how a composer's value escalates with his death. I can't remember a composer ever saying he felt he was paid adequately for a composition, but even a mediocre composer will easily be paid more than he deserves when he's no longer around. So what, you might ask, is the solution? Let me offer a facetious one. That the composer be alive and dead at the same time. Impossible? Let's say you're a composer and you want to reap the benefits of your death, while remaining alive, of course. The first thing you do is disappear, leaving behind a few tantalizing clues to stimulate people's imaginations. Like a message scrawled on a top page of your latest manuscript saying, "My life is a failure." The last few bars of music could be written in a shaky hand trailing off the edge of the page. The evening news might show search parties scanning wooded areas near your last known residence. The aura of mystery surrounding your name would ignite much gossip in the music world. Symphony orchestras and opera companies would clamor for works of this much neglected composer, because a world premiere by a dead composer is a real coup. In order to avoid any identity crisis, you might imitate members of the underworld by visiting a cemetery in a distant town and finding a gravestone with the name of a person whose age, sex, race, etc. closely matched yours. Using this new name, you would apply to the federal government for a birth certificate, which the authorities customarily grant without question. As a new and different person, you may apply for credit cards, food stamps, relief checks, and a checking account in your new name, which would provide you with the income to tide you over until the royalties start rolling in. Then you find a nice, quiet place and settle down to write as many posthumous works as possible, which you would plant at strategic points around the country to be discovered. When your success begins to peak, you play your trump card, a return to life. Any composer can die, but how many have come back from the dead? Fame is now yours forever, and offers from orchestras for commissions and guest conducting would abound at astronomical fees. So what's wrong with your having gone into seclusion to compose? That you failed to inform your friends and loved ones would simply be attributed to your lack of contact with reality. Just an ordinary state for a composer. As a postscript to my friends, do not grieve on the day I die. I might be basking on a beach in the Bahamas. No taxes down there, between visits to my numbered accounts in Switzerland. Thank you.